All right. Welcome. Welcome. Another week of suffering through RHOP season 8, but suffering in community here with these lovely ladies.
There's so much suffering ahead. So,
Yeah.
just
Practically half a season. So with that being said, Ellen, you want to start us off with a toast?
Yes. Um, oops, I finished my drink. It's okay. I still got a sip left. Okay.
Eager beaver.
Cheers. Cheers to Gordon looking at Mia like, bitch, who do you love?
Was it on that beat? Oh, I'm that nigga with the plugs. I'm the
YG.
nigga who got homies that be selling drugs.
you are now watching Mind You Media.
Mind you.
We can't use that. We don't have the rights. You are now streaming Mind You Media. If you didn't get it, you have to watch with the subtitles on, apparently.
Yes, truly. Tell the people.
That
That's
is-
the hack.
That is the hack. It's apparently YG and Lil Uzi Vert who Mia has been hanging out with. And she confirmed that, right, for Ashley's face.
Well, she said her and G have been hanging out with.
That's right. She said,
Oh my, that's so true. Now that I think back about that scene.
I'm like, girl, how'd that work?
I'm concerned about the dynamic, although it could be very true. I wouldn't be surprised.
You might
if
be
G
the
made
kind that has
intro.
the observation kink.
I believe they call themselves. I just saw this on Ready to Love Dallas. They call themselves stags, but I think they should be called cucks.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say that.
Yeah.
No, they don't call themselves cucks. They call themselves stags.
They don't call themselves, but
But
we'll
other
call them
people
what they
call
should.
them.
we
Yeah.
call them cucks.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Because they're all okay. Anyway, so
Oh, stag. But
yes.
you know what's misleading about that? Because I feel like isn't like
Wait, I missed
Stagger Lee like a black man of blues mythology who was like fucking a lot of people? Like I don't know. I thought it was like
Well,
the
then
same
he
as
could have been into that. Wait, what's the stag thing? I missed it. Y'all figured
Like
something out?
solo. Like if someone's going to an event, it's like, oh, alone. Oh, I'm going stag. And so like other people are like in it and you're like watching
On the outside.
Yeah,
like the
It's
male
like
version, a wallflower.
exactly. They're trying to reclaim the position. You know?
Cuckoldry. Yeah, got it.
Mhm.
They're trying to make it pop like fetch. It doesn't pop.
Okay. Well, now on to my favorite part of the episode. Ellen is gonna recap season 8, episode 12 in a minute or less. Excuse me. Ellen is going to attempt to recap the episode. And she's gonna start when I count to 3. This time I'm going to interrupt loud enough because last time she didn't hear apparently. All right.
Where did I?
1, 2, 3, go.
Okay, RHOP, season 8, episode 12. Blazing Confused begins with the light-skinned hoes at the fabric store, mostly gossiping about the other women because what else would they do? They're petty and jealous. Nothing happens of substance there. Next, we have NECA at home with friends Lebe and put quotes, and this other woman whose name I couldn't remember, who seems like an earnest friend. Lebe is there for the cameras, and they are talking about the possibility of NECA's encounter with Wendy at the Happy Eddie event. We also find that NECA's house is mostly unfinished. Next, we get Candace and Chris at home, bracing themselves for running into their enemies at the Happy Eddie event. Chris, typical of a 9, is like, I don't care. Finally, afterwards, we get the Happy Eddie event where the group gathers with their husbands as well and a few friends of to roll oregano. It's like joint rolling.
You're done. You're done. You're done. Get out. Time's out.
I'm almost done.
Clock has stopped.
Okay, well, finally, final two scenes. We get G and Mia at like a little early evening dinner or lunch, talking
Day date.
about restaging day date, more or less restaging what were clearly their already fabricated plans for a non-traditional marriage. Like, it's confusing because they're making references without clarifying, misdirecting us, gaslighting us effectively. So the question mark there. And then the episode ends on NECA's PJ unpacking party, where Mia and Karen continue their confrontation, which begun at the Happy Eddie event. Giselle is being a jealous, stupid, corny loser. Ashley, looking like a football player in that. Sorry.
What is Ashley's look?
I just remember her nasty white ass cheeks were out.
Oh my God. It's like a white halter short one piece onesie shorts thing, like pajama jam, but like the halter thing is wide open and she's wearing like a black lace bra under it. And it's just like, Ashley, you're giving us upside down triangle like I've never fucking seen it. And I would like you to balance your proportions if you're entering the world of fashion. Like, what is going on? Bad body. Okay. Then we get, yes, I body shamed her. Me and Candace both. Okay.
She took a wide body.
She said, I'm pregnant, but that's not why. Okay. But that ain't it. So then we hear Robin via Mia, via the Never Have I Ever game, confront Karen about having stored those photos of Robin's family in her phone. And it's just like, girl, who cares?
The one.
Girl,
That doesn't count as a confrontation, okay?
no, that's why I said via, because it's passive aggressive. Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, some other stuff I guess happens there. Maybe we're gonna get part 2 of that pajama party next week.
I should hope.
But it was very chaotic. Like, it's hard to pin down some of the stuff that happened there. And they just, once again, loser ass producers are giving us flashes of things rather than actual conversations, which is disorienting and alienating and makes for bad TV, and you all should lose your jobs.
You heard it here first, folks.
Voice.
Can I just say briefly? Oh, well, no, you know what? Let's carry on. Let me know.
Now you got us interested.
You got us
I was just I was reflecting on NECA's in whack ass pajama party, and I'm just thinking about the golden, not even the golden era of pajama parties is obviously Atlanta and beanies in the hotel. But think about even like when Sheree had that lingerie sleepover, how much fun it was. You remember when? You remember when? What season was that? They you remember when Kenya got drunk at Sheree's house?
Recently, yeah.
And she was like fun, Kenya, and they were think about, and obviously like the dynamics are different, but like there were beefs that were still present in that dynamic, and like the vibes were fun. Like, don't give us no daytime brunch unpacking your wedding stuff, nigga.
Yeah, what was it daytime? And you know what it is? It's Giselle. Ding ding ding. Like, anyway, we can get there, but I think the reason why, because at that Sheree pajama thing, was it Drew who was actively trying to attack someone, and she chased them throughout the like event? Somebody was actively chasing Kenya also, and Kenya was just drunk, like, I don't care, whatever.
Might have been Marlo.
I'm sure Marlo had some sort of conflict with someone. I think Drew also did with someone else who was there. But it was still like a rich, good time because there was nobody there like Giselle. You know what I mean? Like, nobody with a large negative presence. No one with a presence that's just like, pay attention to me and direct all your energies this way and wait with bated breath for me to speak, but expect that the thing I say is going to be hateful, negative, miserable, not funny, cringy.
That's sad. I also think separately from this, some people are just inexperienced hosts, and NECA strikes me as one. I'm saying that as someone who
food and it looked good.
No, that's true. But like some people like to go to the party and not have the party and have not cultivated the skills that would, and I'm one of those people. And I can see that NECA is as well.
But you know what? The thing about NECA is, my guess would be that actually she is the kind to make the party because she ain't the life of the party, right? Like, she's not the kind to get the party started. She's the like vehicle you use to have the party. Hence the producer's role.
Instrument, you might say.
Yeah.
I was going to say something, but Chris and I were just talking about how we need to move on this show. Okay. Next thing. Let's start us off with the fabric store. Okay. Ellen said there's not much to say here, but I just feel like this was a lot to start the episode off. We're confronted with GNA. Like, they're trying to make athleisure at this. Maybe this is how you make a dream board for a company. I don't know, but I was like, why are they here? Like,
it wasn't real. I don't think it was real. I think it was like, let's perform doing work for the because I bet you the fabric, the swatches are already ready. Like, they have very little input and that they're just performing this. Because Robin showed up like, no, do you want me to choose material? And nobody indulged her because she was like, I should probably help because these women are tacky. And they did not give her an opportunity to go, these would be good fabrics. But she came serious about work and no work happened.
That's actually very true.
Also, recall when we looked at the website last episode, it's nothing but black and white socks and hats and a white
one red hat, one red beanie.
There's no fabric doesn't figure in beyond just the black and white of it. So it's like, why are y'all even here?
We about to print out merch next week. Look for it. Mind you, just hats and t-shirts with a logo on it. If that's the
case.
They
pulled out pink, they pulled out all sorts of bright colors that we have yet to see represented on their website.
Up looking tacky. Okay, obviously Giselle's lycra tennis dress was cute. Didn't look cute on her. But obviously it's nothing. It's a simple dress. But Giselle doesn't have style. She can she choose a decent look every now and then? Yeah, who can't? Okay. But Ashley shows up with these puff sleeves. Like, why is she always trying to emphasize the triangular shape of her body? We need volume here, Ashley. No, you need volume in the hip area where you are lacking sorely. Why is she always doing this?
You just re-inflated your chest, girl. It's not right. Like, why? Stop.
I feel like it's the stag thing. Like, she's trying to do this ownership, look at my shoulders, like I'm actually re-narrating.
There is a power pose. Power pose was an aesthetic.
No, but there is a way to lean. There's a way to lean into a broad shoulder, and make it a frame that works. She's not doing it's usually not look at my big boobs also, right? There's the wafy model twig. She doesn't have that shape, so whatever, but she could try to fake it if she wanted to lean into her broad shoulders, but she doesn't know what she's doing. It's like she doesn't know a thing about fashion. Obviously Giselle doesn't either, and they don't have personal style.
Like, Ashley, get a wide leg pant, okay? You need some volume at the bottom, please.
High-waisted and wide legs specifically, because we need something that resembles a hip on her.
And she looks like someone who would wear that. I mean, I'm surprised. Why aren't you doing that already?
Oh yeah, because it would work with boho.
Yeah, that totally fits her, whatever style she is, consistently.
She's going for a 14-year-old white girl. That's it.
The 14-year-olds are wearing the wide-legged, high-waisted pants.
Her idea of 14-year-old white girl, left over from when she was in school.
She's giving 13 going on 30.
Yes, that's exactly.
Is that Jennifer Garner? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jennifer Garner is also broad-shouldered, so.
Yeah.
Tracks.
There you go. Also, during this time, even before we see their outfits, I'm triggered that they were at the fabric store at all. I thought that we would start this episode off in Surrey County. They gave us such little of Surrey last episode, and they made such a big deal of this trip and the blah, 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 blah. I thought we've just gotten a taste of a much larger thing.
But some very obnoxious person on Twitter was like, Again, not giving us luxury. What are you doing in Surrey County? It's like,
Shut up. Please, y'all. Please.
anyway, so I'm just saying, like, this is the level of stupidity. That's not a popular opinion by any means. It was one fool, but like, yeah, agreed.
Where there's one fool, there are many. I
Where there's
feel
one
like
fool, they're related to the producers.
yes. Why even if I were the producers, even if I was where it was these producers, I would just cut that. Like, oh, we didn't get anything from Surrey. Like, what's the point of making a whole episode about getting there and then we just show it for like 2 seconds?
Yeah.
It was very anticlimactic.
It couldn't have been a day trip, right? It takes 4 hours to get there. They
Hours.
didn't go for one
They had
afternoon,
to have spend the night.
right? Yeah, because they brought suitcases, didn't they?
Yes, they brought suitcases.
I mean, they probably just didn't stay, responding to the discourse. Oh, it's not glamorous or something. And it's like, we saw all the event. My sense, I guess maybe it was because they keep not letting us linger in scenes for too long. But my sense at the end of that episode was like, okay, that's it. Like when Wendy was like, you skipping steps. I was like, okay, well, I guess that's it. That's no
Not
more.
letting us linger in, potential conversations and actual substantive engagements, but we were in Austin for 5 episodes.
Yes. That's the thing. I cannot believe, I'm not believing that there wasn't something worth showing, some character building, some conversations that happened. Like it used to, I mean, think about the old days Atlanta. They would spend a whole episode on like Kenya's charity work, like, oh, we're scooping food at the food pantry,
They would spend a whole episode at a dinner table.
That's what I'm saying. I was gonna say dinner table. A convo had at dinner was an entire episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, all right. So I was upset by that. They're doing little G&A stuff, and they cut to a really cute, amazing moment. If one of you want to describe it.
Where Angel or Adore, we can't discern because the producers didn't even care to tag which one it was just like, Mom, like Giselle FaceTimes one of them and is like, it's giving preschool, like giving them the due clowning that they deserve for this dumbass endeavor. Good for you, Angel or Adore. Shout out.
And when Giselle said it's called GNA, she was like, what is this? And you could hear someone in the back like, ah!
Probably the other twin.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's giving morning show is what it's giving.
Exactly. And I think that's what they mean. Like they're like the lettering, the fact of it being both of your names. That's it. That's as far as you got on creativity. Like she's calling them basic.
Yes.
Elementary.
I think worse. I mean, like just like this is not cute. This is not nice. Don't do this. Don't proceed. And that's even before she saw the ugly font that they chose.
Yeah. Or she could have seen the font. They could have showed her the font and not. And then Giselle's in the confessional, like, yes. Oh, it's so cringy. It's like just like there's like a version of like uncool mom trying to be down that is cute, but it's like Giselle's like not that. She's like, do I like the name? I like the name. Why is she doing this with her body? Like she's like, I just
the thing is, when you are that type of parent in real life, you are embarrassing your children on purpose. But you're doing it through the embarrassment of yourself. Oh, all of their little friends will think, oh, Angel's mom is so embarrassing. But when you record this for the general public, you're just embarrassing yourself.
And try to market it as a business enterprise.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like Giselle had been in that realm of like mom poking fun, self-deprecating in an unacceptable way. And it's like, maybe because she's getting progressively so unchecked, unhinged, and nasty, it's like somehow that is like her sense of herself is skewed or something. You don't see that doesn't make you look charming. You look nasty and old and thirsty, and it's not cute.
And I don't really know of this as like the trajectory of unhealth for the 8 or whatever. But yeah, that's what I wanted to track. It's like, because of course we're doing this simultaneous rewatch. It's like Giselle was corny then, but like in a cute way. Like, and she still had funny moments. Like it was funny, not like I'm just laughing at you, but like there was a chuckle moment. She was never hilarious, but there was humor there. And now I think it's maybe just inauthenticity. Like I think she's performing too much, so then it just falls flat. And she's performing because she's not being real in real life. Like she's not trying to perform. She just like a certain version of herself. Her soul has left, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the part where I now feel like personally insulted because it's like, oh, you think I don't see through that piss poor performance of goof troop? Like, I'm not dumb, Giselle. I see that you're actually giving us nothing and trying to think that we're gonna like go with your little clown antics and still like you.
100%. Everything she says now is just like, I'm like, shut up, get out of here. Like, yeah, it's bad. It's
to
bad.
Ellen's well, okay, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, but that's also the like basis of the connection among the women. Like these aren't friends. Mia, Robin, Ashley, and Giselle are not friends. And what they gave us of their interaction at the fabric store underscored that, because the like grounds for them gathering is to talk about the darker skinned women and shit on them. That's it. That's literally it.
And in the case of Ashley, literally try to plot more lies and fake news on them. Because Ashley literally was like, they were like, oh, Ashley, you went to Surrey County? I did. But it was great. NECA invited us over to her house. And what did she say? Like, she didn't invite Wendy or something.
And Mia had to correct the record.
Again, having to step in the completely untested role of voice of reason for her is like, no, actually she did. She was on that text. Don't do that.
Literally.
That was sickening. Let's move to that point. Like she, in the car, if we flash back to the trip to Surrey County, which was longer than the trip in Surrey County, NECA asks just to the group, it looks like she just says, like, I'm having this PJ party, da 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 da. Everybody, it seems from the little camera in the car that everybody responds normally. And then it does this close-up other view of Ashley saying to NECA or to Wendy, oh, she asked, are you coming? Like, do you want to go?
Yeah,
she invited you. And so and what I hate is that the producers did not bring that back. They didn't show that clip. Because it's like that proves that Ashley not only knew that Wendy was invited, but that like she brought attention to the fact that she was invited.
Yeah, but Ashley was contesting whether NECA was invited to Wendy's event, the Happy Eddie event.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the minute Mia corrected the record, and maybe this is just because Ashley is a know-it-all and doesn't ever want to be caught unaware, right? But immediately when Mia corrects the record, she didn't invite her. You're right. She was on that thread. It's almost like you knew, but you just wanted to throw a bomb and you hoped everyone would play along. And frankly, if Mia wasn't there, they would have played along.
No, she definitely knew.
And it's crazy because this goes back to the earlier in the season when they were under the South Moon or whatever, like when we were discussing
under the Tuscan sun,
under the Tuscan moon sky.
South Moon under.
When they were there, we were like, do these women really think they can just like conspire to create the reality that everyone must live under? They're just gonna like come up with some shit and impose it. It's like, Ashley, are you so habituated to just wanton lies that you're like, yeah, and she didn't even invite her? No, but there's a record. Like,
yes.
What?
She is literally habituated to wanton lies, okay? Like, that is the name of Ashley's fucking game. 100%.
Yeah. And then what? Then you just get at the reunion and be like, "Whoops, sorry. I can't understand. Like, what kind of person are you? That's crazy."
Yeah.
And I don't know if she says that. No, I think she does say that in the context of this thing, right? Because she has to talk about how she now has to be a serious businesswoman. She can't be a kept woman or whatever. And it's like, Ashley, shut the hell up. Ashley's job is to pay attention to the ongoings of the women so she can find opportunities to create conflict. And while that might be a like useful character on a reality show, there's a way to do it with dignity. There's a way to do it such that you can remain likable. And Ashley has neither dignity nor is she likable. Because for her, and I will say this about Sheree too, because obviously Sheree had the reputation for a mess on Atlanta. And it's true about Sheree. There's this like anti-black desire to ingratiate yourself, or at least to just shit on the black girls. Like whenever Kim Zolciak was around, Sheree just like, we look alike. I like you. Be my friend. Can I be close to you? Those are black bitches. Like,
I did not like Sheree in the role of, you know, what she would call the bone collector. But at least she called it something. At least she was like, I'm collecting bones. I'm da, da, da.
Yeah,
Ashley acts
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm doing nothing wrong. In fact, I'm the voice of reason. In
and
fact,
Sheree didn't lie. Sheree never
Sheree
lied.
didn't lie. That's the
She
part.
was snitching. She was snitching. Right.
yeah.
Sheree
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna take this role as the person who will run tell that. Be careful what you say around me because I'm going to go tell it, but like I'm not gonna make the shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the new, like, I feel like that's descriptive of this season, right? Like Giselle and Ashley are two people with ugly, ugly souls or no souls at all. And it's like almost like their enterprise now. The whole thing is GNA. The whole show.
That's it.
Ashley, okay, and this is the last thing I'll say before we are moving on, but Ashley's like personality, her whole it's like she can't be the organizer, the orchestrator of drama. Like she is out of her league. And honestly, Giselle is too. And that's why the show is suffering.
Yep.
Okay. So we move from the fabric store to NECA's house, which as Ellen pointed out, is unfinished. Like literally there's no sink in the kitchen.
If I'm
Like
NECA, I'm not making the fact of my residence the focal point of my identity. Or if I am, you're gonna get external pictures, but we're not gonna keep filming in this it's not even half unpacked. We see boxes awry every time we are in the house. Girl, I don't.
What housewife will have? It's called housewife. What housewife will have ever entered into a franchise without a home?
No, what can we talk? Can we again flash back to Sheree? What was her house called?
Chateau by Sheree. But that was Sheree's third home.
But what I will say is that she would have never hosted something without a sink in that home.
Of course,
you know,
She closed off the unfinished basement for the housewarming.
And it's not even the same thing. Like, oh, Sheree took forever. Yeah, because she was building a mega mansion from scratch, which was crazy to begin with, because it was like, Sheree, you don't have a job. Like, you probably shouldn't do this. But the point is not even that, because Sheree had already, like, shouldn't you start off? Shouldn't it be a prerequisite that you have a home when it's called Housewives? Because there has to be some place to go. And the whole, this is what a lot of people are drawing on as, oh, the luxury. No. You just need a place to sit in your house so you can key with other women, period. And okay, you're making do with makeshift seating upstairs or whatever, but it just, I don't really care. I'm not bothered by her not having shit in her house. Like, I actually do not give a fuck about that. But what it goes to underscore is that this was a very premature acceptance of this woman on the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to say, is that this is fake. This is fake. She moved from LA at her age. She's in her 30s, 38, whatever, with her. She and her black husband moved to Potomac. Like, this is just totally, you would never do that unless you were trying so hard to be on this show.
Yeah. Potomac is not a place for young people to.
Yes. And
I mean,
so it's just
I doubt young white people are running to Potomac right now.
They're not. They're running out of Potomac. One lives in my basement right now. Hello, Megan.
And
But
you don't make Potomac a part of your identity unless it's to signal to other people. Because like who beyond the Real Housewives of Potomac cares that your 0295 whatever zip code is a Potomac?
I think the Real Housewives, I know the Real Housewives don't care, okay? It's the audience that doesn't know the area, knows nothing. Okay, well, we'll just believe it because she moved to Potomac, you know? It's like, this is another thing that makes her existence on the show stupid, unrealistic, only about getting Wendy off.
Rushed and instrumentalized. Yeah.
And it makes her stupid for agreeing because it's like, girl, if you're interested, wait a season till you're settled. You literally said yes to the producers when you hadn't even moved in yet. You were still working with the contractors. You're having events in your house and your boxes
the producers probably told her it's now or never because they had some priorities, aka get Wendy the fuck out. And that needed to happen with all due haste or something. Like why it needed to happen this quickly. Like decide, are you getting out Candace this season? Are you getting out Wendy this season? Are you aiming for both? I mean, obviously they're aiming for both. There's a precedent for 2 housewives leaving in a given season, but it's like this woman, and by the way, Bido means, I'm assuming in Igbo, the beginnings, right? Which means this is my first enterprise branching out of my attorney by trade at prominent fintech company work,
and
right?
She's only been working on it for 4 months.
Haste. Like if you're a housewife, you need to have a product.
Or you could have come with a personality and a finished house. If that was right, like we don't want to feel that way. We don't want the housewife we just meet to be like, I'm recycling Bethany Frankel's strategy for like, skinny girl vodka. Oh, like Bethany Frankel had been established on the series before she released that product, hadn't she? Like, I don't know, I didn't watch New York.
She was established.
It's like
she had a following to buy the skinny girl vodka,
And it's the strategy. That's how it works to have a business as a housewife. It's like you become a housewife to gain a following, and then you
wait till you've won our hearts over. Like this other shit is not it.
Or mind you, this did not work, but this is also a reasonable strategy. You have something already in the works that you want to market. That was the strategy of Ashley and Michael, who openly said it in the Washington Post about Oz. They openly said, we're here to promote Oz.
And how'd that go?
But that wasn't true. That wasn't true. That's how Ashley sold the idea to Michael. That was never Ashley's primary ambition.
Oh, well, it wasn't Ashley's, but that
she
was
wanted independent income. Yeah.
You know who else? You know who else that strategy failed for? One, Monique Samuels, not for lazy moms business.
Oh,
yes. That's exactly the same. Yes.
You remember she booked City Winery or something and couldn't even pay for the tickets? I mean, the seat, she couldn't even sell it out.
Yeah, but what I will say about that strategy, even though clearly we've seen it time and again and it has not worked, it is still a reasonable thing to do. NECA's whole... It just, no, you were set up.
I'm not going to agree that it's a reasonable thing to do. And let me tell you why. Is it smart to find opportunities to market your business? Yeah. But what's not smart is to go, let me join this franchise with this reputation for, by the way, either making or breaking your existence. And whatever it does make about your existence, there will be enormous costs. And they usually happen in your personal life. You don't use the show only because you want to promote a business you haven't even gotten started yet. You will ruin your life on that strategy. Like it will destroy your marriage. It will destroy all of your friendships. That's what the housewives do. So be established in who you are. Know who you are. Either be a businesswoman or don't be a businesswoman. You don't have to be a businesswoman. You could also make money very passively by using marketing on like all of Cynthia's enterprise. Cynthia's not a businesswoman, but she will have proliferated businesses off of her name, and they're all partnerships. And I know Next is a partnership too. She's not the sole proprietor of the thing. But I'm just saying, like, if it's like, oh, let me hurry up. We see that it looks thirsty and we'll reject it. If you get kicked, if you don't get renewed for the next season, now here you are with the debts of a new business and nothing to show for it.
And the depths of a personal life where like
and that's
Necca
guaranteed.
is fast tracked for disaster in her marriage, in her relationships, in her own sense of self. Like she seems already like a fragile, pitiful woman who cries at night.
And those women are not her friends. It's giving rent a friends. Okay. The one woman might be a good person, but she's not her close friend. She didn't know that Ikenna was still over there.
Yeah, that's true. Well, because her friends don't live in Potomac. She just moved. She has no friends here, that are real friends.
And Lebe is over here looking so pressed to finally make a physical appearance in the show.
So newly snatched and pressed
that she doesn't even want to emote too much. It's like she's like, it's been hard one to finally get up here. So
that's the surgeries, Kristen. That's the surgeries. That's why she can't emote too much. She literally just got her face done before she walked across the threshold of Necca's house.
I don't want to hear any more about that. Okay.
Literally looking with the same face.
Did y'all know that what Wendy exposed of their relationship on Twitter early this season was that one of the things, like basically Wendy's account is like, this woman, and I'm going to paraphrase, this woman was just one of those users trying to clock our relationship, our, secondhand relationship, because she's friends with my sister, to get access to things that I will have had access to by virtue of my being on this platform. Like, she's like, who's your BBL? So I need a BBL quick. I need a BBL before the start of the new year. Oh my God, the doctor's booked. I'm going to use your name to see if I can get moved up in the calendar. That's what Wendy showed us was her interaction with Lebe. Okay. And like, Lebe's like, oh, I also need you to talk to this woman. Blah, 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 blah. And then I think Wendy's like, did you buy my new book? And she's like, yeah, girl, I bought your new, whatever. So anyway, I'm just trying to say Wendy's also not innocent necessarily in that, because she's just like, or at least she's like, okay, if you're going to be a user, this better be some sort of mutual exchange.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Lebe is doing with her cousin's wife.
Yes.
Yes.
We remember seeing her as Necca's outfit consultant in Austin,
Right.
Is it giving bone straight? No, it's not. Okay, it's giving kinky braiding hair. Okay.
That was damning.
Horrible. Yeah, so that was Necca's house before she was telling them, I'm gonna have this PJ party. I'm going to unpack. She was going to unpack her boxes from her wedding that happened 2 years ago.
Okay, can I just ask one quick question? Yeah. What do y'all notice about Lebe's face besides the fillers and Botox? What's your impression of her face?
One thing that this YouTube endeavor has taught me is that I cannot see, like when you all point things out on the screen, I'm like, whose outfit? I don't know what face.
Not the outfits, but just like, what was your vibe, impression, energy, reading of
my sense of her face? I was just reading her. My sense of her face was like, not knowing fillers, I was just like, it looks to me like she's so concerned with looking around so that she can give the right thing that the moment calls for. Like, that's what I was looking at. And I was just like, girl, you finally got your chance. And you're just like, I don't want to do or say the wrong thing or present the wrong version, lest that compromise my chance to recur. So
like when she was like, so we're gonna have to carry chairs upstairs. We got you, girl. Like, it's like, okay. This is like, thank you for your support.
Of her actual face, I will say that I was, now that you mention it, examining it, because depending on the angle, like sometimes I'm like, because Necca's face can really scare me sometimes.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, okay, who's the prettier sister here? And then in the end, I landed on Lebe. It was less like threatening, but maybe that's because she's not on her hind legs. I don't know.
She's not her sister. She's her
her
in-law
cousin, her husband's cousin.
But you can tell they're related.
No, they're not related. They're in-laws.
The husband is
her husband.
Wow. Oh, you know who I'm conflating is we did see Necca's sister. Yes.
Sister,
okay.
yeah.
Well, I did the same thing actually.
sister.
And
No,
everything that I just narrated, I thought about the sister.
You were thinking of the sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think also the internet is more or less unanimous in thinking we would like the sister and not
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
specifically Lebe, like I know it's the Botox. She looks sinister to me. She actually looks sinister to me.
Yes.
Like I mean, they did make the eyebrows like do this, so that kind of doesn't help her case. But I just feel like she's plotting.
Yeah.
Like the vibe she's giving me is and then there was too much fixation on Wendy in the convo. Like, okay, the friend said, all right, I'm gonna leave my phone on loud in case I need to pick you up. But I felt like Lebe was being like, but will Wendy, like,
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I
that would
agree.
make sense. Her sinister for sure, because then it's like she doesn't want to let on. She doesn't want her face to let on. So she's like, let me paint a nice smile so I look unassuming. But yeah.
like she was masking a sinister intent. Yeah.
And I will say this, even though I did not come on here wanting to say this. The other friend, Ellen said earlier that she did not like the other friend's face. I also had that thought, but at least that person was coming on here without sinister intent, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
So
remember the
I
one.
just don't think she's cute, but she looks very sweet in the face.
she looks like a
her
nice
face
person.
is giving sweet.
Yes. All right. Well, with
But
that.
she's still a rental friend.
Yeah, and that's how you know she's sweet. She was like, okay, I'll come on.
Exactly. Yeah, because it doesn't look like it looks like the most she's getting out of it is like, okay, I'll do a cute look, I'll do a full beat in an outfit and then I'll be on TV, blah blah, but not like I'm waiting for my time to get a,
Exactly. Yes. Naka reached out like, please, I need people, I need bodies. And she said, I can be a body.
And
Yeah.
Lebe is like, actually, I'm going to manage your presence on the show.
Yeah.
We're going to really spin this together so that we can both come up. Yeah.
Okay, so Giselle energy, in other words. Exactly. That's
could
what I'm getting. The sinisterness is like, I will manage you in the interest ultimately of what I need.
Yes.
Plus, there's the evidence Wendy gave us on Twitter. So
all right. So from there we go to Candace and Chris's bedroom. And we see the two of them in a just normal couples moment, which we've seen very little of. We got briefly in a montage in one of the first episodes, them having a picnic, and then since then we haven't seen just like an organic whatever moment with them. And Candace was asking him, like, are you nervous about going to Eddie's launch of his new company, Happy Eddie? She's gonna have to be working. And he was like, no, to Ellen's earlier point, he's a 9. Like, 9s love to gaslight. This is totally normal. I'm like I can nothing will be wrong,
No, it's not called gaslighting. It's called rose-colored glasses because they're doing it to themselves.
That's very true. It's
very
still
minimizing, very.
And was it at this moment that they play the history of Chris's interactions with them?
I want to say no, but I can't remember. He just goes out of his way to be like, if I see anybody, I'm gonna just say hello. If I see anybody they say hello, I'll say hello back.
Yeah. It was so sad for me because it was just like you lost the conviction your anger once made possible for you about how you've been wronged, and now you're just back to like, I don't want to be disliked. And it's like, Chris,
yeah,
you're not. Giselle's actually in love with you. That's the thing. That's the thing, and she will do all manner of nasty thing in the name of that.
Oh, what a woman. I can't. Jesus Christ.
Do we have anything else to say about that scene? This just made me a little bit sad.
My one thing to say about that is, once again, I think it's, same position. I think the producers are giving us less of them than they might otherwise, so that upon reflection, the viewer can be like, actually, Candace was boring. Like, later.
Less of them and less compelling of them, because I can't think of anything. It's like, oh, all they're doing is talking about Candace's roles and why she's not around, and
for 2 seconds, yeah.
And like, it allows the narrative, like the proportion of his like time on TV being equated with like this creepy guy preying on women, when that part of his time is larger.
Mhm.
There's never, he's like, that's how we still see him, even though this is so much later.
And that's how he's also the like small version of himself now, right? Like again, it's the thing about the 9 is they don't think anger is good. They have it, but it's coming very rarely, and when it comes, it's an eruption because they are constantly suppressing their anger. So now that the anger has subsided, now he's in the position of like, no, I'm friends with everyone. Everyone is nice to me and they like me. It's like total denial, right? So and if that's the storyline, like, how do you feel about this? Then it's just always him going like,
No.
He's a shrunken figure.
yeah, and it's mean. I saw people on Twitter like, Chris ain't never had a job, but it's like,
Cut it out. Cut it
get
out.
your
What
little
are you talking about? That's not
capitalist
true.
glorifying work ass out of here. Who cares?
And it's literally not true. Like the whole storyline that got Giselle on this started with him being at work and Ashley trying to make herself pop. Shut up.
And it's they're acting like it's like, oh, but with Juan, this is probably Queens of Bravo that I'm remembering saying this, like, oh, Juan doesn't. We don't care that Juan doesn't have a job. I'm not the one making fun of Juan for not. Some people are. I'm not making fun of Juan for not having a job. Robin is upset that Juan doesn't have a job. Okay, it's just another thing she like won't confront him about and will passive aggressively chat. But yeah, it's okay for Juan to not have a job. Laugh it up, kick your feet back.
Yeah. Housewives, these episodes have to be enough. Like that has to be enough. I feel like if I was on Housewives, I could live off this check.
Yes. No, for sure.
And even if it wasn't like enough to like, drip and ball out, you'd be like, no, I will cut back my expenses because I ain't trying to work.
I mean, and if anybody had to do that, the Dixons had to do that. So
it is surely enough. It is surely enough. Sister Wives, with their big family, 22 people, they survive on that show and MLMs. These people can survive.
What's MLMs?
Yeah.
Multi-level marketing. Like, yeah, no, like
Ponzi scheme.
Yes.
Like what?
Like
Ponzi scheme.
oh my God.
Like they'll be on Instagram selling like probiotics and stuff, getting other people under them,
I'm dead.
Okay, so from there we move to the actual Happy Eddie event. Okay. And okay, I actually really Happy Eddie and Wendy get to the venue. And the person organizing the event is like, okay, so what we're going to do is have people practice. Like it's a joint rolling event, and we'll have people practice with oregano and some other herb. What was it?
Parsley, probably.
Parsley. And I was like, oh, this is cute. Like, all right, people could stand to practice. All right. And then everybody comes in and shits on it. Okay, first of all, I understand that Wendy needed to know this before, not Wendy, Happy Eddie should have known what his event was and told everyone in advance. But so that was weird that they were introduced to it seemingly moments or, hours, whatever, before everyone else. But then it's like, okay, so you're not going to get high. You should have known living in Maryland that it was not legalized. But even
filming a TV show, it was not going to be acceptable to have actual marijuana on the table to roll.
Yes. Everyone went ham shitting. I could have done this at home. And it's like, shut up. I did not like that.
I literally thought that at the start of that scene that they were going to walk up and inspect. Like how whenever people have events and they go in and they check on the venue and stuff. I was like, Wendy sure is dressed up for this inspection of whether or not the venue has what they need. And then I was like, oh, this is it. Oh.
It's happening. Yeah.
But everyone got goodie bags. So if someone was really that pressed, they could walk to the bathroom, popped an edible, and come back in.
That's or bring your vape. Like you don't have your vape. You don't have your vape in your purse. You doing it wrong. Okay. It's basically smokeless. You can do it anywhere.
Yes. So any other thoughts on the Happy Eddie event?
I will say, lots. But I would just one quick. I mean, besides Wendy's dress, stunning. Not appropriate for the event though. Loved it though. Wendy doesn't smoke. like Eddie probably goes, hey, and she goes, she's a 3, and she'll go, okay, and then pass it back. But if Wendy did smoke, Wendy's entire on-camera persona is crying out for a sativa dominant hybrid, because if she had it, I'm telling you, she would be less ignited by these attacks. She would be leaning back like, shut the fuck up. Like, and
Wendy would be a really good high, actually. She was actually Zen Wen.
She should, what's it called? Medicate. She should medicate with a hybrid every day. She should carry a vape and have a little bit each day. Like, because I think that's gonna take the edge off her. You know, those like annoying aspects. I think that's gonna like cut it a little bit.
I'm glad you said that, because I remember last episode where they kind of introduced Happy Eddie and the Endeavor, and like, you know, Eddie has his talking points for the company, like it's for professionals who work and need to come down, da 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 da. And Wendy's like, we got kids. Sorry. It's like, we got kids, so we definitely need to be two people who work hard and have some outlet. And it's like, that just sounded like you were delivering a narrative, but I like can't actually imagine it with you, Wendy. I really can't.
And because then a moment later in another confessional scene, she was just like, I'm gonna have to tell my grandkids their grandpa's a drug dealer. I said,
the devil's lettuce.
With it or
not? Yeah, I'm glad that helps make sense of that, because I was just like, I don't believe it, but I'm not interrogating it any further.
Yeah, she don't ever be high. I mean, if she even smoked every night, it would balance her out in the day.
I think she's one of those people that talks like you're at an event, smoking, and they're like, I get paranoid, you know. And who knows how much they ever really got paranoid.
That would be me.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think a lot of 3s don't want weed because it feels like an anti-productivity drug for them. And that's, by the way, why I suggested a hybrid, and I made it sativa dominant, not indica like, even though indica would bring her down a little bit, she could cool it. Like, sativa can still do that. A hybrid that is sativa dominant can keep you sharp in your brain, and still also, because it's a hybrid, be like, all right, you know what? I don't.
Those are the ones, when I do smoke, I do really love sativa exclusively, because I find myself able to like stay present with thoughts or something, and not like be brought down by the body of it all.
Yeah, I know. Go on.
No, the paranoia tends to come from the sativa, but if it's a hybrid with sativa dominant, then you can cut some of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's also a lot to say besides that. One, even before
much to name.
Before the people come in, I was triggered. This is, again, well, I want to say it's Eddie's event, but who knows, because he didn't even know what the format would be. He didn't know oregano was involved. Maybe. But by name, at least, it is Eddie's event. This is Eddie's Endeavor. And they had a cutout, life-size cutout of Eddie. If I have an event, you know what? There might be a life-size cutout of me. And that is my prerogative. Do not come into my event, especially as my partner, and tell me before
I was like, who are you talking about? Because it's Wendy who had a problem with it.
Yes, before it starts, Wendy is clowning it. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. It's like, no, this is his event. If he wants a cutout of himself, he gets a cutout of himself. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I appreciate Candace being like, you're going to have to be supportive. Okay. Just be quiet about it.
Yes. He puts up with candles. You got to put up with the cutout.
I think this is also still the vestiges, the remnants, the residue. I don't think it's waned. I think it's actually present. It's just like in a small amount. Wendy is resentful about Eddie's enterprise, either because it makes him less available for her, or because she's in that 3 competitive bag. You know, I don't know, or because of what it is, and that doesn't feel to her consistent with the reputation she would like to build for herself. You know, like, she's a Christian immigrant. Like, weed is the devil. The devil's lettuce. She called it the devil's lettuce last episode. So,
all right.
Well, as reliably expected, Ashley arrives looking a hot mess in an atrocious get up. Again, not flattering her shape, and I just wish she would stop. Like, can somebody help her?
What
Stop
is she
coming on the
wearing?
show.
What
Yeah.
describe for us?
Something polyester, very
Sheeny,
multi-striped. That's all I
colored.
can remember.
Yeah. They
Hideous.
run together in my mind now. Like some cutouts, some sheens, some
She loves a cutout.
Probably for sure there was cleavage.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It was short. That's the other thing. It's like you don't always have to wear a mini dress.
Mm-mm.
Yes. Yes. Her Surrey thing was very bad. Okay, so Ashley's outfit is ugly. We can see that upon her arrival. Upon Giselle's arrival, she does not say hello to Wendy or Eddie, even though this is their event.
Worst behavior.
If you cannot face the people who invited you to a place, don't come.
Keep your ass at home.
She actually can, though. This is not anxiety. This is not stress. This is her thinking she's like queen fucking bee. She thinks this is a power move, and it's not. It's embarrassing.
the
She's
most
how
triggering
old?
part.
Yeah.
It's like on the heels of Surrey, where she just defiantly told Karen, "Oh, if you're inviting Candace and Wendy, I am not gonna be there." It's like, why then, when they asked you if you were coming to Wendy's event, were you like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come"? Like, why?
I have a proposal, a theory about why she was definitely coming.
Why?
Because Chris was gonna be there, her boyfriend.
Right.
She was lit to see him.
And she had to act up. Oh my God. It's like, when you have to act up to be noticed, behavior be damned. It's like, I don't care if I'm being charming or not. I'm just going to make a splash so you see me. Hey, boyfriend.
She's
and
at
she
such a
told-
low.
And she told the women, I swear to God, it literally just occurred to me, but that's exactly why the fuck she went. And she told the women at the fabric store, like, I'm coming because you all will be there. NECA and Ashley were on Karen's Surrey trip, so aren't those your friends?
Yeah.
Isn't Karen your best friend? You all will have outnumbered your so-called enemies if that's what it was about.
Yep.
Yeah, easily. So
You literally show up to the enemy's territory, presumably.
she's lying.
She wanted to see Chris.
Sickening.
Mm.
And when she sees Chris, well, when she is doing her confessional, she describes seeing Chris and seeing that he is he's gained weight and that he must be stressed, implying after what he did to her, he must be
Must be stress
eating.
eating. You know what? Takes one to know one, Giselle. Shut up.
stress eating. She is stressed about Grace leaving, but that's for another episode.
About that. literally. That was a bad move on her part. Like big mistake, huge, as Kelly Kapoor would say from The Office, quoting Julia Roberts. Like, okay, originally Julia Roberts said it in Pretty Woman, but Kelly Kapoor said it better. The point is like, you just exposed the whole fucking plot B word with that nasty, malicious claim. Yep. You just showed your whole ass. In other words, you were never uncomfortable. You made it up, and now you sit so comfortably in the wake of this disaster you called that you can mock your supposed sexual assailant.
Mm.
You're mocking him. Like said no victim of sexual assault ever, said no victim of some man's even just a basic level of impropriety, like looks like he's stressed, yeah, I fucked him up. Like nobody who feels assailed by a man, made uncomfortable by a man, feels like oops, look what I did to him. Nobody's reveling in that.
Especially if you just were victimized by him, like you're not gonna move from victimization instantly to hurting him. It's like
this is
hurt people after not coping and learning and then needing to somehow cope. It's like, no, Giselle, you're just telling on yourself.
She's reveling in it. Yeah, exactly. It was like, because you were never actually the victim. You were always the villain. We watched you go, what? You think Ashley thinks Chris was trying to get at her, but that's... No, he was trying to get at me, actually, you bitch. Mm-hmm. Don't take my... Like, I watched Giselle's face transform when Robin said, Ashley said Chris was in her DMs. Now, why would he be in her DMs when he wants me?
Ugh.
You know he wants me, right? And she literally cooked
And
the
Robin's
story.
like, no, girl, stop.
And she was like, yes, he tried to rape me. It's like, you will go that far to insist on your desirability?
Apparently.
Is that serious?
Yes. Well, you said it best a few episodes ago. It's like when that woman has invested her whole life in her green eyes and light skin, and now that she's getting old and neck and cankles, these are like death grips. She's like, oh no, I'm not gonna be outdone. I'm still the hottie. I'm still a hottie.
And I would like to take this opportunity to address a discussion had on Twitter about that moment, since the producers love a flashback, that moment where Candace said, you stand here with your privileged white looking ass, making the accusation. And people are like, oh, I mean, a few idiots, a minority of fools said, oh my God, I can't believe she's calling her white looking. And you want to talk about colorism, because apparently it's offensive to be descriptive. Okay. Now, I know this is a point Catherine insists on. Nobody thinks Giselle passes as white. Nobody's saying Giselle passes as white. That's not the point.
That's important.
She looks white and she's doing it on purpose. Her hair's blonde. She dyed it. Okay.
Yep.
She's going for it. She called herself Suntan Barbie moments ago.
The key to this beauty is staying out of the shade, she told us.
She literally. And first season reunion, when Katie said, you look like a mixed chick, or you could pass it. She said, I know, and I still claim I'm black. She said, I know. Okay. So this is not a shock. Okay. It's not offensive to be descriptive. And frankly, what Candace was offering that people are made uncomfortable by is the analysis of privilege. But people are misguided because they think Candace was offering an analysis of privilege between Giselle on the one hand and Chris on the other. Giselle doesn't have more privilege than Chris, and nobody was ever claiming that. Giselle is lit, eager, chomping at the bit to insist that brown-skinned woman's man wants her, because she said, you're not more desirable than me, brown girl. I'm light-skinned with green eyes and blonde hair. If your husband had a chance, he'd drop you in a moment for me. That's what Giselle was trying to insist on.
Yep.
And that's what Candace's point is. And people will grant her that credibility because of colorism. They'll go, well, she is ultimately the more desirable one. I mean, her hair is blonde and her eyes are green.
Yep.
Yeah.
They'll give that to her. And so she revels in it. She has always believed that. By the way, I know we're not at this scene yet. When Giselle walks into Nneka's house for the pajama party, anybody see a legitimate hottie of a friend standing right at Nneka's kitchen island? Beautiful one. Bring her on the show. We want her, okay? That's first of all. That's my first request. And my second request, pull a tape back, because you can see Giselle pretend she doesn't exist.
Yep. Cannibal beauty.
Don't just say hi to my sister. Say hi to my gorgeous friend. And Giselle's like, yeah. Anyway, literally body blocks her out, and Giselle has always done that.
And Robin explicitly says, season 1, like, I like seeing Giselle meet pretty women. She explicitly says that, pretty women.
Because about who?
Ashley said you're always threatened when you meet pretty women.
Yes, and it was talking about Ashley.
To corroborate Ashley's account of how their beginnings went.
Yep. And that corroborates why Giselle is running rampant, hanging out with Charisse and Nneka, who she doesn't feel threatened by. She can be the queen, and they can be the sorry people in her.
And yet she takes opportunity in the confessional, despite a presumably burgeoning friendship with Nneka, to go, she wants us to unpack her wedding gifts. Nneka's interested. Like, she made it a whole character assessment and spoke as if she wasn't even her friend. At least when Mia said it, she was like, that girl's fun. She wants to have a party, but she wants us to unpack her shit. No, Giselle said, so, Nneka's an interesting character. It's like, aren't you her friend?
Yep.
Just off this, she's now an interesting character. Can't you have said it was in bad taste? But now you don't even know, making very clear you're only ever using her.
Yep, she's a character in your ploy that has been designed. Stop.
Any other thoughts on this scene?
Well, we've missed at the top of the episode. I mean, at the top of the event, we get Karen come in and say, "You know what, Mia, come on over here. Let's clear why I'm angry at you." First of all, it's like, Karen, you're angry at Mia. Like,
well, because Mia responded rudely to her. Like
yeah.
Robin was polite in her rejecting the invitation. Mia was nasty.
And I'm glad Karen got her together in the chat too. She said, "Cool, Mia.
Yes.
You need to get over it, Mia." But Karen comes out, guns a-blazing, like, let me tell you why I was mad at you, Mia, okay?
But also she was being playful, right? Did you clock that? Like she was, because she was like, Mia.
And they reintroduced the handshake, which is a little fun point of their little beef from earlier. But my thing is, when they actually did get into their beef, even though I think Karen is being unreasonable, she was defending a very virtuous position, which is like, she kept saying, Mia, you know what I'm trying to do with these girls. I'm trying to have situations for us to get together. And so like, it's almost like she wants her to fully, move past the fact that she had first string and second string invitations to see the bigger picture. Was like, the point is just, I'm just trying to get y'all together because you know how hard it is.
Yeah.
And specifically, she probably, if that's true, she didn't invite the people who she knows will inflame the conflict.
Yes.
I mean, unfortunately, she invited Ashley. Ashley will always inflame the conflict, but she probably knew she couldn't get away with it with not inviting Ashley. But yeah, Mia will just be like, oh, there's a fight, grenade.
Yep.
And Robin, whenever Robin and Giselle are together, there will be no moving forward, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I just found that virtual, even though like it's like in the van when NECA brought it up last episode, like, no, Karen, you do have to admit you made it seem like there was an A team and a B team. And Karen was like, no, okay, I received that. Like, it's a fair point for someone to feel a way about that. But,
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think your retelling of that is helping me. By the end of the scene, I was like, okay, I see what Karen was trying to do, but I also just felt like, why are you bringing this back up? Especially as like our rewatch has shown, like season 1 Karen would have gone way harder than Mia about not being on that first string of invites or inviting people, at the last minute to an event. So that just kind of seemed annoying to me. Like, don't bring this up. Yes, Mia was annoying with her response, but you handled it with cool, Mia. Just leave it at that.
Yeah. But she's ongoingly mad at her. That's
what I was gonna say, is that once I kind of realized the thing, I became annoyed for a second reason.
Wait, which is like Karen is ongoingly mad at Mia?
Yes. Okay. Yes, with Mia. I feel like we have been robbed of some of the context of, I felt like there's something that's deep-seated, something bigger, something that is like inflaming Karen's annoyance at Mia. And I feel
could it have been Mia exposing the possibility of Karen's affair last season? And specifically, like, okay, I guess Charisse said it, but then Mia ran it back like and kept it going as a story. So then it's like, A, you're consorting with my number one enemy, Charisse. And B, weren't you my friend?
Yeah.
Weren't you my friend? Because she reminds us, I brought you on this show, so you don't owe me nothing but respect. And
that's true. And especially the I brought you on the show is important context, which she brings in the confessional. I think right there.
Which it's not justifying Karen, it's Karen's ego for sure. Like Mia is now allowed to criticize you and engage you the way she would anyone else. But you're also allowed to, go after that ass if she tries you.
That's fine. She will.
Yes. But I guess, these would be all very interesting plot lines and lines of conflict if we were privy to them.
Exactly.
Can we just underscore before we leave just how awful Giselle was throughout the whole event? Like,
awful.
When they're all seated and Wendy thanks everyone for coming and says, like, I'm just grateful that we're all here. It's been a long time since we've all been together in this group and laughing and happy. And Giselle just takes that as an opportunity to find a way to undermine her. I'm not laughing.
Cut her off while she's talking. like interrupts her to loudly proclaim, "Did I laugh?" Like, you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that?
It's like bordering on unhealth. Like, like, are you mentally well? Like, hello?
No, she's not. She's not well. She's not well.
She's really not.
It's,
And
I-
then
I-
I'm like, if she's not well, maybe I don't know. I don't know. Jury's out as to whether she'll be in hell.
She'll be in hell for sure. She will
That's
be
what
in
I was originally thinking, but there must be some sort of like,
She's
I don't
also a
know.
bully. And I can tell she's been a bully her entire life. I was
Oh,
on
that's-
Twitter coming at somebody about this. Like they were like, "Oh, Giselle's never had to be around women she doesn't get along with." Everywhere
what?
Giselle
What?
goes, she finds some women to not get along with. Okay. Like,
It's another 8.
It's also
I will tell you.
in a sorority like that. She cut her teeth on not getting along with women.
Giselle walks
crazy.
outside and doesn't get along with people. Even before, when she was like less antisocial before the show ruined her, that was her journey in life to become more open to others, like that was her task.
yeah.
She does not
I think
naturally get along with people with other
I
women.
think the person was trying to say, and having to be around them. And I was like, no, this is where you're getting it wrong. Okay. She doesn't go, oh, I don't like that person, I'm running. As an 8, right? It's
Bring them.
anti-social, it's relational. There must be the enemy nearby so she can know herself. Okay. She
Yes.
must define herself against these enemies she constructed. She does not
Yes.
flee her enemies, she keeps them close at hand, right? Like if she
Yes.
had a sorority, every day, whatever their equivalent of the pit was, she's strolling through the yard being like, let's laugh and bully that one and that one and that one. Like, and she will have corralled her minions to support her in this.
Giselle, and we saw this episode, but this has always been her. She is the type of person that will go into an event so that you can see her ignore people at that event.
Yeah. Speaking of which, production showing flashbacks of Wendy not saying hi to Giselle at other people's event. We clock you, production.
Yeah.
Shut the hell up. Shut the actual hell
That's
up.
called stating a position. Like y'all are literally not slick, and we see what you're up to.
Yeah, and, like flagrant with it. Not also, I feel this is true about the Chris flashbacks, because the Chris flashbacks of the Giselle stuff is like Chris in his angry eruptions, for which there were 2. There were 2 about Giselle, one of which was directed at her, and that was the reunion, right? Like having to answer for my family, like that moment. They show that as the context for the thing. Why don't you flash back to Giselle earlier this season going, he forced me into a room.
Right.
Why don't you flash back Giselle sitting across from Robin and Robin going, girl, shut up. And Giselle going, I'm telling you, he wanted all this.
Many a married man have tried me. Okay. Oh, and that's your greatest pride, your pride and joy. That's like what you think you were made for.
That would actually give us the context about what the actual thing was, right? Let's say you didn't watch the previous season, but instead it's just Chris being like, explain yourself, please. Like angrily.
Such a good point. Wow, that is a profound point.
They are so heavy-handed in their agenda. It's too much. Like you all need to burn.
Truly. Oh,
Meet Giselle in hell. All right. Next, we
wait. The last thing that happens in the Wendy Eddie event is that NECA's thirsty, pitiable ass comes up to Wendy at
Very
the end.
important. Thank you.
First of all, NECA enters the event and first goes to Wendy and says, hey, thank you so much for inviting me. Just wanted to make sure I said that. Okay, thank you. And then ends the event bringing Wendy to the side and saying, hey, I just wanted to say thanks again. I really appreciate the olive branch that you extended. It's a really big branch of olives, and I just really appreciated that. And
she did say that, a really big branch of olives.
no, I mean, she said like a large olive branch, like it was a big deal. And then she's like, I'd love for us to sit down and, just try to talk. And Wendy's reaction, I don't like it. What y'all think about that?
Let me say before her reaction, I was annoyed with this scene because this scene is a scene that needed to happen, and it should have happened 10 episodes ago. Like to have a pull to the side moment, like we need to talk. This used to be Housewives bread and butter. And using these events to have these, but it's like we've seen none of these moments really with anyone this season. And especially this beef could have been squashed really early on. And beyond that, like you knew both of them were lying to some extent. You knew game recognized game to some extent. They should have had a one-on-one a long time ago. So I was frustrated that it's like I wanted that this is like so long overdue.
Well, I think it didn't happen. I think NECA specifically didn't pull Wendy aside. And I would argue that's who will have needed to initiate the
Yeah,
conversation this entire
agreed.
time. I think specifically she didn't pull her aside because she was not secure yet in her position. Now she thinks, okay, I'm settled in, right? Like I'm not gonna leave before filming is done for this season, right? So now she feels like, okay, I got invited to stuff on my own. Like it's not just I'm the friend of Ashley. It's deep enough into the filming of the season that she's like, I can afford to mend things with Wendy. And especially if it's going to further secure my, if my place is threatened by being enemies with Wendy, which I think she does worry about that. Like, hence the way she was talking to Lebe. She was like, look, we have the same, we're going to move forward. I'm going to need to be cool with her. So stop trying to keep us as enemies, Lebe. Like that was the energy I felt like she was returning Lebe's, comments with. I think that's why it's happened belatedly, but I hear you. The frustration is still legitimate. And I will say I also did not like the way Wendy responded. I want to, guard her right to remain angry and maybe unwilling even to patch things up. But I just felt like if that was her position, the conversation would have looked different. Wendy seems confused, disoriented, not sure about what tact to take on this matter. And it's like, I probably do as an 8 need to make more room for ambivalence, confusion, uncertainty in people's positions. But it's like when you're going to parlay that uncertainty into, so I don't know if we can talk. Like it's not a good look.
And I think like what was true, as nasty and consistently despicable as NECA has been this whole season, her approach to Wendy sounded sincere of voice and tone. Like she was humbling herself in a kind of way, even if it's belated, fair, but it's like first she greeted you and thanked you. At the end of the event, she's thanking you again, recognizing that you didn't have to do this. Like she's being deferential, Wendy.
Definitely humbling herself. Let me ask you this, Kristen. Do you think, could it be possible that Wendy actually wasn't sure whether it was sincere?
If she was a 3, I would say yeah. I would say yeah. And that sucks. And that's a reason not to trust Wendy's instincts all the time. But I mean, I guess like if your instincts, like if Wendy is probably just guarded because like any approach from NECA threatens embarrassment, insecurity coming out again. So it's like, oh, if NECA approaches, I have to be on the ready. And it makes it impossible for her to see and hear the sincerity that NECA's approaching her with. And, like we've made a lot of comments on like how Wendy's instincts can't be trusted because of her own insecurities a lot over this season.
I think that 3s do not judge who they should talk or not talk to based on what they think that person's level of sincerity is. I think that like I'm just annoyed because I don't think that she's not talking to NECA or chooses not to talk to her because she's like, oh, I'm worried that she's not being sincere. I think she was caught deer in headlights, didn't expect NECA to say that, didn't know what to do. I think that she does not want to reconcile with NECA.
But NECA had just said it at the beginning of the event, like that was already a short gesture to say like, hey, thank you so much for inviting me before the event. So it's like, that should have planted a seed in Wendy's mind that like, oh, okay. That's, it's not like she's blindsided.
No, but Catherine, you're saying she has a vested interest in sustaining this conflict, right? So it doesn't actually matter whether NECA is sincere.
Yes, it does. I don't think it matters at all, her level of sincerity.
I will take that point, but you need to consider that Wendy raised the question of her sincerity. She said, "Okay, but before you go on, I just want to make sure this is coming from a sincere place." Now, this is what I asked that question because I suspect she was hit with how sincere Nneka was. She said, "Oh, like even if it's not in, it's not like a 3 is not habituated to discernment. So they like rarely are they like, is this person being real with me? That is not the prominent concern. And their capacity to see that is all the way turned down because of their other kind of motivations, fixations, etc. But I think maybe there was a rare moment of her going, well, that really seems sincere. I want to make sure sincerity is happening. She raised her guard back up and then returned.
That's what I think. I think that's why, even though Nneka comes to her at the beginning of the event, I think she's just thrown like, I actually didn't plan for this. She's not good off the cuff. I think this is, this is not scripted. I don't even know how to respond. And it's very annoying to me as a viewer, like the response of like, I don't know if we can talk, because it's like, no, you're actually paid to talk. Get off the show if you don't want to talk. Not that I'm saying Wendy should get off the show, but come on.
I think she's also caught up. I hope I can say this like in a lucid way. It feels like she's getting trapped in the like nasty habits of the like moves and maneuvers that Giselle and her minions make, because it's like Nneka approaches you with a level of humility and sincerity, which instead of like recognizing and honoring, you like interpret as a chance for you to like go hard at her. And it's like, that's misplaced, because you should have gone hard at Giselle for showing up to your event, not speaking to you or your husband, not greeting you or saying goodbye. And it's like, instead, you're going to take kind of chump ass Nneka and kind of go hard at her, even though she just kind of prostrated herself for you.
And if that ain't a 3,
like that's
no, seriously, like a 3, because she thinks, I believe one of y'all said something to this effect before, because she recognizes Nneka as the one she has power over, that's the one who she's gonna punch at, right? Meanwhile, the producers plus Giselle are the ones masterminding this they're the ones who sent Nneka after you. And you're missing the optics of this whole Nigeria versus Nigeria beef and indulging it and making, it's like you're playing right into Giselle and them's anti-Black hands. Please don't. Please. Like, and it's, you don't have greater, it's a fundamental misapprehension of power, because 3s might be very interested in power and ingratiating themselves, but that doesn't mean they know where it is. Okay.
Yes.
They do not know where to find it, because you don't actually have power over Nneka if she is an instrument of production. You don't have power over her. She's not a thing to have power over. She is the mere object they are playing with.
And right up.
Yeah, the whole orientation is against you. You're at the bottom of the barrel this season. So you either punch, the person who has their foot on your neck and try and make allies, which would be a good strategy, and you might find one in Nneka. Not one you can trust fully, but at least one you could fix the optics with.
And I think the reason, the like evidence of that as the right analysis is like Candace's way of interacting with Nneka. We were talking about earlier, like, why is Candace so like open to her? But I think it's precisely because of this. Like, she apprehends that Nneka is just a fucking tool at work to try to accomplish an end that Giselle, Ashley, and the producers want to see Wendy off the show, Candace off the show, and at some point. And Candace
more or less aware of her instrumentalization, right? Like, I don't think Nneka knows the full plot.
No. Yeah. I think Candace does. And I think she's like, I'm not gonna take out my frustrations on this woman who's being used, even like she's dumb. Like, I'm sorry, Nneka, like, you are willing to allow yourself to be used for this instrumental plot line that's nasty and anti-Black. And so Candace is just like, oh, that's unfortunate, but I know who really still has the reins,
And the more you make enemies with, that's what they're looking for. They're hoping for you to not get along with anyone so they can go, this is not sustainable. They literally did that to Monique, right? Like, I'm not saying Monique shouldn't have left after certainly you assault somebody, you get a season off minimum, right? Like, but the way Giselle orchestrated Monique's departure was by being like, everyone sit behind me. Everyone sit behind me. Not Candace, because Candace is sitting right here as the victim of the thing, right? Like everyone else sit behind me. And Giselle will fake pat Candace's shoulder, like, yeah, I'm concerned about her. And Karen is the only one going, wait a minute. And Giselle goes, Karen, are you challenging my power? That's who was her enemy that season.
And that, we could say that's where Candace learned learned Giselle's moves most forcefully, even though they didn't fall out until later. It's like, oh, I see this woman is actually, her motives are opportunistic in a kind of way. Like she always felt threatened by Monique. She took advantage of my suffering to be on her high horse against her. But
and you know what happened right before that, though? Monique, like a blind three, teamed up with Giselle to try to isolate Candace.
Yeah.
That's what started their conflict.
Yeah.
So Monique is pulling a Wendy. Monique pulled a Wendy before Wendy did it. Once again, she ended up fighting Candace.
Yep.
Her BFF at the behest of Giselle and Ashley.
We're moving on to the next thing. I don't want to sit with this on camera.
Okay, also let's note Mia trying to act like Eddie is jobless. Hateful loser. It's anti-Black. Like, shut up.
We didn't even get to this part, but we're just gonna breeze through it quickly, okay? Mia and Gordon go to a vegan restaurant and they act out a conversation that we believe is previously, been had.
That one was a head scratcher for me.
Yeah, very strange. So maybe we just raise the questions we have. But I do want to say the framing for this also is at that Happy Eddie event. Remember, they're all sitting around the table and Robin goes, Mia, after Gordon leaves, so how are you and Gordon? Nasty B word. That is not your friend, Mia, because Mia has never broached that with the whole group. So right there in front of a bunch of people, she's like, you're having problems in your marriage, aren't you? Bring them. What? Robin hides my man cheating on me perpetually. Dixon? What's her name? Dixon is the one who's going to raise this in front of everyone before Mia has a chance to broach it with the group herself. You're so nasty.
And Mia has been such a friend to her this season. She has, when nobody
undeservingly so.
When you have deserted yourself from everyone, even your protector, one Giselle Bryant, the one person who still has hope for you, you now try and expose in this public setting where no one's high or drunk. Okay.
Let's a wand for her. Okay.
Yeah, she sure did. But this is Robin's MO. Remember when she brought the recorder speaker out to dinner in, was that Mexico or was that another time?
Oh,
she loved
Miami, yeah.
Loves to put people on blast in front of the group, but then call foul when they say, "Girl, fucking walk it like you talk it." Then
very ugly.
You got a YG hit. No, yeah, it's nasty. It's nasty and tragic. But okay, I guess we can take up the potential conflict since Mia, much like when Ashley confronted her outside the bathroom of the PAVE event, remember? Ashley was preying upon her vulnerability and sadness, and then Mia said, Jacqueline did it to me. And she is there to answer the call. Somebody waves a knife at her, she takes it out of their hands, and she's like, yes. Okay, weirdo. Opportunist.
Yes. What I will say, questions that I have about this vegan scene is why does Mia in the confessional when she didn't want to talk about something that Gordon brought up? I was very intrigued.
Yeah, and production is so stupid because it's like, at least let us hear the question you raised to her so we can hear what she's saying. I have no comment about.
No, that wasn't with the arrangement thing, right? That was when she said I have no comment about that.
But it doesn't make sense for her to say I have no comment about that because she literally just said it on the camera, right? Like she was making comments about it. So they must have asked her something more pointed to get more information. They should have heard us. They should have let us hear what they asked her that she's saying no comment about, because at least we get a sense of what she's now refusing to disclose, even though she had just kind of disclosed it.
Exactly. And she was, again, I've been complaining the confessionals, lack of sincerity. That was a moment to me that read as very sincere. She did not want to talk about it. Okay, so what was the question? What did she not want to talk about?
They're just cutting conveniently to telephone. Yeah, but okay, yeah, I'm ready to say I don't know what's going on. Like, I can't tell what kind of actual person Gordon is behind closed doors. Like, I've been appreciating him these past few episodes. He's seeming like the sweet husband, but now I'm like, is it a performance? Like, I don't know. I don't know Gordon's number yet, and that worries me. Okay.
I used to be very wary of Gordon. He has been cute these little episodes. And I feel like I don't know who he is, but I don't know who Mia is. And I think they make a great couple. And like,
You're sick.
Peas in an MF pod. Peas in an MF pod.
He's basically what we did see of the portrait rendered there at lunch is that he's controlling. He basically said, "You're not leaving this marriage." Like, hello, young buck, you ain't going nowhere.
Do you? We would work it out.
He also seemed abusive, like gaslighting.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, the people. I don't know why they put me out. Like, I mean, they said it was about hostility, but they told me I was just a bad listener.
That was an evil moment. That was evil. Okay.
That feels like no.
All right.
Like, he's cutthroat with his relatives in the business, right? Like, in such a way that he may have played a part in the suicide of somebody who was stealing from them, but the theft is not worth suicide. Okay, that's first of all. He's like, nah, you wouldn't have left. We're not getting divorced. Like, that's what he said. And then she was like, you were telling me what to do. You were trying to boss me around. And he's like, yeah.
He was like, I always just said, if it ever came to that, like, we figure out an arrangement. Like, but that's it. But that's it. She was like, why would I want to be in captivity? I was like,
when she said that, I was like, okay, Mia.
No amount of money would make me want to be in captivity. I said,
first of all, we all know a 7 is very much organized around that very fear, okay? Because they are still the security triad, despite what they look like. It's like, you will not contain them. They cannot be contained. Yeah, but it's like he was annoying in the context of that combo. So I was like, I believe Mia's account of him. Like, I believe that he at home, he can be very controlling, and like, he won't talk to her about the details of the money stuff. He'll be like, bitch, I'm handling it, and shoo her away. He was cutting her off when she was clearly mid-sentence, and he's cutting her off. Like, it's almost like
he's like answering the wrong question or responding to the wrong thought. Like, that's not what she said. Why are you misdirecting?
I think if we could have seen the whole conversation, I do think he would have seemed controlling in the conversation, but it would have been helpful. It would have been helpful in terms of like, what are you answering? What are you not answering?
For sure. I mean, yeah, because that's the thing that makes it like, I'm not saying me is innocent and like at all. Like, when Gordon is like, yeah, you would cut me deeply every chance you got, I fully believe him. I fully believe she says the nastiest possible things to him when she's angry. But I bet he returns it. And it's like, I don't think he's a 2, because
neither do I.
Like, the 2 man is not going to like attack their family members in business, like, I almost think he's a 7, but like, actually, you know how I say like 2 of the same type don't get together? The one time they might get together is if they're 7s, and frankly, it says that in the book. Like, Helen Palmer has a description of 2 7s together. And don't forget, Gordon was the one always trying to ignite threesomes. Early in their time on the show, he'd be like, Karen, yum!
That's why. Maybe I'll have to sit on that one. I feel like a 7-man needs. Well, but Mia is ready to facilitate. Well, let's sit on that.
7-man needs what? Because 2 7s get together. They do get together. And when they get together, they're just like battling each other for who is the least attached to the relationship.
I feel like 7s need people who or not need, but like are drawn to people who are the ones that are willing to be, oh, I'm so attached to you. I'm so attached, you know? But Mia is willing to
Maybe
perform
that's why
at a
he had to
certain
be an
time.
old 7.
Yeah.
Exactly. She was willing to perform that for her own 7 needs.
In the beginning. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. She was a stripper. Like, you know, she
Yeah.
was very vulnerable in relation to him. So
Mhm.
she probably did do it as a like for as long as she needed to.
Mhm.
And I've seen it on Maths, Married at First Sight. I've seen a 7 woman who you would expect to be like, first sign of trouble, I'm out of here, be like, okay, it's fine, over and over and over and over again for the sake of
Mm.
security.
And I do think, to Kristen's point, that age difference is important here.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay, what about the invocation of the Ashley Michael thing? Wasn't that randomly
It was
as
very
fuck
Weird timing.
introduced in
Yes.
the okay,
That
here's
was
what I think.
production. Like, you know, that didn't slide from the previous thought.
I think it did. I think it actually did, and let me tell you what I think they were both. That's also what leads me to believe they consciously went to lunch to perform for the viewers a concept that they need to slow feed us,
It
which
sounded
is that
so weird. Go
which the
on.
concept is we are going to have a non-traditional arrangement because who do they invoke? Ashley and Michael's non-traditional and everybody has always thought this entire time that Ashley and Michael have been pretending to be a happily married monogamous husband and wife pairing when really that was never the arrangement between the two of them, and they invoke it almost to be like there's a precedent for this, right, America? Like break the fourth wall and say there's a precedent for this. And I don't think they rehearsed it well. I think they were actually taking each other by surprise with their responses, but they still
Mm.
landed on the same agreement before they staged this convo for us. And I think the Ashley Michael thing was meant to test the boundaries of the other, to check on the boundaries of the other. So what if I just took care of you when you were injured in your old age? What would you do?
I do think that, but I still don't think it slid from whatever that previous point was right into that. Like, that was just ugly to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It did feel like a jarring transition, but it certainly serviced the point of their different positions on the arrangement. Or are those positions even different? That's the question I have. Like, why does it feel like Mia is bristling at the proposition of an arrangement when it feels like that was their whole setup? And anyway, but Gordon's point was like, yeah, why would you ever want to give up a sugar daddy once you could get one, Mia?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think she's saying like I will not enter into an arrangement where like that is so ironclad, divorce is off the table if it's not working for me. I think that was it. Like, okay, like I really do believe she's like, okay, we can like even what's it called? We can revisit the terms of our already arrangement, whether or not we were openly acknowledging it as such, right? Like, but I do believe she would like to reserve the right to leave him if she, which is like, duh. Duh. And he's like, ain't no bitch walking out on me. And it's like, and then what do we get before the season starts? A little selfie cam video of Gordon going,
No.
I never bought it. Remember?
Oh yeah,
Remember?
no.
Yeah.
That
Is
was
that a
very
7?
fake.
Is that the hallmark of a 7? A like emotional manipulator kind of thing?
Yes.
Ashley Darby is a 7.
She does it so poorly. Yeah.
They're so manipulative, which is why I was like struggling to see a 7 with a 7, because it's like, you know, they need someone who's
Makes
really
only
gonna
one.
be.
I know, but you need to check. But so is a 2. A 2 is so emotionally manipulative, and 2s and 7s are always together.
Yes, yes.
And
It's
Helen Palmer.
scary to see. I see it over. I see the 7 and 2 everywhere.
Yeah, I know. At least a 7 has met their match in another 7, right? Like once again.
That sounds fun, actually. They need their own spinoff. Gordon and Mia divorcing.
No, that's what I said. I
Actually,
said
I would
it's
watch it. I would
it's
watch it.
good. I would totally watch that spinoff. Are you kidding me? Okay, I would be obsessed with all little kids. I'd love seeing Gordon, Mr. Mom.
Oh, Mr. Mama.
He does not take care of those kids. That's another thing he's staging for the cameras. Like, that's why she's like, do this, do that. He's like, I know how to take care of my kids. She's like, well, you rarely do. So,
I ain't never seen them rollerblade with you before.
Do you know what a scooter is, Gordon? Before you take it out, make sure you get the helmet.
2 sevens fighting over who is the least absent parent. That's what they were doing.
Not most present.
Literally. Least absent.
Okay. So our final scene after, but let's mark right now that was disorienting and we still don't know what's going on in their relationship. And
12 episodes in, we're still scratching our head.
And we knew before the season started that this issue is happening with them. So, anyways. Okay. Now we are finally at NECA's PJ party unpacking of the years past wedding event. The thing that I think was very telling for me right at the start, Giselle comes in before any of the other housewives and is wearing this like gray. This is the one time I noticed an outfit. She's wearing this gray dress, okay, and she's like, I'm wearing loungewear instead of like PJs. I forgot that it was a PJ party. She says I'm wearing loungewear. This speaks to how she should not be starting a clothing line. I thought this is so typical Giselle coming in wearing something like that. And it's like, no, that was just on this theme, you know, but it's like, that's how bad her normal outfit would be.
Well, the dress is not bad. It's
inappropriate
basic Gucci wear, but there's a reason why she wears it because she thinks she looks snatched. And if you catch, there's a moment in a scene where they're sitting talking in like the seating area, and you see Giselle get up and walk across, and she's walking like this. And I'm like, oh, shut up. Like, if you were really doing something, I wouldn't have to see your bra straps, okay? Your boobs are not big enough to make this excusable. Seriously? Like, it's an insult to big-breasted women, frankly.
She thought that if she put on a bright red lip, we wouldn't notice.
Like, I know, and it's like, yeah, but your edgeless ponytail is still giving away the truth. It's edgeless, I'm telling you, look closer. She just dyed her scalp.
Yeah, her scalp runs into the hair color, and it's like, girl, we can't see the difference. Oh my God.
It's going down.
Thank you for that. That's
there wasn't much else in this one for me. I thought Charisse is the most pitiful woman.
When Karen comes in, hello everyone, she's like,
everyone says hello. I'm just like, girl, just
get a life, dude. Get a life.
Please. Eddie left a long time ago. Just start over, please.
Yes.
But does Iyanla uncover the deeper like roots of this? It's not about Eddie. It's about something else, like something begun in childhood, right? Like, does she get a core wound?
I don't
remember either, but I will say when I watched it, it just to me felt very a continuation of very sad.
You know, Charisse is so quick to sob, you know, so it's like she just, you don't want to like mark somebody as pitiful just because crying. Like, that's not the mark of pitiful. It's often vulnerable and strong or whatever, but it's like, it's just to see it all the time. I'm like, what active steps are you taking in the interest of people else?
Well, that's the thing. I think it's hard to watch a middle-aged Black woman be miserable, and that's what we're seeing, and I don't like it.
Especially in a show whose economy is also like sparring, and like, I don't want Charisse to be nasty and use her hurt to hurt other people, but it's like, you can't be Eeyore on The Real Housewives.
You can be Eeyore. No, but and it's like on Iyanla, I'm going there for that, and it's not that we don't want vulnerability. That's not the point. It's just that like sometimes being on TV will worsen your thing, and it's like it's not worth it for our entertainment because we're not being entertained by this. This is unfortunate. It's sad. We're not learning anything because you're not learning anything. Like you need to just go on a probably 6-month retreat with Iyanla.
Her kids seem cool. Go hang out with them, you know?
No, I don't want that either. She's like, she keeps the daughter too close, and it's like she's going to damage her with her own stuff.
That is true. I do think she's already done that, but
Yeah.
you know, live your life is what I want to tell her.
Yeah. Go home. Go home.
Yes. Other things that happened there. Oh, so Charisse, tell about the Never Have I Ever.
Oh yeah, Nneka
Oh.
has this game. She hosts the Never Have I Ever game, asking people to put questions in a bowl. Never have I ever questions, and then she draws them and reads out which ones people haven't done. And the first one they draw is who has
Never have I ever.
Oh yeah. Never have I ever paid for penis.
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D.
And everyone's quiet because ain't nobody gonna be that. And Ashley looks around and is like, Charisse?
To me, in a rare moment of earnestness from Ashley, it doesn't even feel like she's trying to be nasty, but she's like, I mean, if I had to get it logically deducing the people in this room, I would think, because Charisse, you haven't been married in a long time. You live alone.
Yes. No, I love that. I was actually happy that Charisse was there just for that moment. That was funny to me. Okay.
And sad ass Charisse couldn't even mount the fence. It's so sad.
Yeah, but other than that, that was just really the start of what seems like it's going to be a longer affair.
You think it's gonna happen? Okay, well, we can wait for that. The one thing I do want to point out is that I already talked about Giselle being jealous of the hottie friend that's there. When someone was like, "Oh, Giselle's loser," not greeting Wendy and Eddie at their event, but then goes, "So Wendy didn't tell you she wasn't coming?" Oh, shut the hell up! Of all the list of etiquette that is appropriate for attending someone's event, that ain't a priority. That's first of all. And we all know you just are looking for it to be a back Wendy moment. And of course, this is why Wendy is justified in not repairing things with Nneka. Nneka takes the bait and she goes, "Well, I'm used to the disrespect." It's like,
she leapt on it.
you can say, "Well, that's fine. Like I wasn't sure if I was going to attend her event. We'll see if we can still repair."
We spoke at the end of her event, so we'll have a future conversation. You could say anything. It's like,
Exactly.
or you know what you could say if you had a chest to say stuff with Nneka. You could say, "Oh, that's funny, Giselle, because I didn't see you greet Wendy." Like that's the more pressing etiquette violation.
Because Giselle's intention there is to humiliate you. It's not like, and to advance her own anti-Wendy agenda. It's not to be a supportive friend to you. Like, because what she does effectively in that moment is put you on blast now to make you answer. And you gave her exactly what she wanted. Stop letting her manipulate you. She's bullying people into these positions.
Yeah.
Stand up.
I don't mean this, but I almost want Nneka back next season.
No,
just with the hope that she replays the tapes and learns something from her showing this season. Like, how them football players be re-watching tape to learn where their errors were. Do that over break, Nneka.
She doesn't have it in her character to learn from this. She's not.
As the great Tyra Banks once told us, learn from this.
How dare you? How dare you invoke Tyra?
Learn
Dear
from
God. Okay, but the one little piece of tea left is that in the midst of people raising the rumors about Mia's dalliances with YG and Lil Uzi Vert, she frankly admits to rolling with them, but she says Gordon is present for that. Then in the confessional, I think when she is being pressed about a potential lover, she said, he's not even a rapper.
Very important little piece there. So then she does deny certain things about a rapper, though she's been around a rapper with G. But in the confessional, to Ellen's point, she is like, "Yeah, I'm truly out here with someone who does not rap."
Be quick with a spin. She go quick.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like I said, she's willing to cut her own wrists for the story. And then she'll spin it so that she's not bleeding as much, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think, Kristen, you said that she would be great for a spinoff.
I'd watch it. Gladly.
All right, well, we got to stay tuned for part 2, hopefully, of the PJ party. Hopefully we see some things getting unboxed. Hopefully we see NECA's house getting together.
Hopefully we find out who do you love?
Bitch, who do you love?
All right, like, comment, subscribe.
Bye.
Bitch, who do you love? Champagne. Bitch, who do you love? I got a shorty named Texas.